Planning and Development Committee meeting for December 18, 2023. Councilor Andrus?
I am here.
Walton?
Here.
Wolverton?
Here.
Sims?
Here.
Nelms?
Here.
All present.
Thank you, all present. I'll begin with a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
Waltney is the first and Nelms is the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes 5-0. Okay, old business 071023, request to set a public hearing for consideration of proposed revisions to the city's zoning ordinance. We voted at the Planning Commission 9-0 in favor of recommending the approval, and Mr. Smith spoke to us at our last meeting. Any follow-ups or any follow-up questions or any more discussion that you all have?
Last time we left it with Scott had a couple of comments, and we met before the meeting, and so since then, the day after, we revised, I think, 3 definitions, just to clarify some things.
And you sent that out to...
And really, that's it, yeah.
Council.
So you guys have had the final version, it's the 8th.
Any follow-up questions?
Did that revision include the apron for pea gravel?
Yep, the 20 feet or the right-of-way, whichever was that conversation.
Yes.
Yep, that's in there. Yeah. The pervious driveway definition has gotten really long, but I mean it's pretty definitive about what's allowed and what's not. So.
All right, and Mike, how much time do we need before?
The first meeting is January 29th.
Okay, January 29th. Okay. All right. Any other follow-up conversations? If not, I would entertain a motion to move out without recommendation, setting the public hearing for January 29th. I can't speak.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Nelms with the first and Councilor Waltney with the second. Okay, all this in favor?
Cal, I just have one more question too. Did that include the restriction of residential only? I'm sorry. When that came back out, I didn't realize it was revised in that section already.
Yep. So we revised it the day after the last committee meeting.
Yeah.
And then sent it out on the Thursday, so it would have been 10 days or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So the definition is the first 2 sentences address your concern. First sentence, allowed only in detached dwelling zoning districts. Second sentence, a concrete apron shall be installed between the edge of roadway, alley, asphalt for 20 feet or to the right-of-way line, whichever is greater.
Okay. Thanks. And my apologies.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that will be out for a January 29th. We set that public hearing tonight for a public hearing. Okay, thank you. 11-11-23, request to consider proposed amendments to the Homewood Sign Ordinance. Mr. Pugh?
Yes, where we left off last time, we talked about temporary signs, window signs, and monument signs are the 3 areas of focus to these amendments. Temporary signs, currently a temporary sign may be displayed as a freestanding sign, an attached sign, including window signs. The proposed amendment would be, per Councilor Allemann's suggestion, temporary signs may only be freestanding.
So like a banner, like a, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a
Board apron,
yeah.
right?
Okay, yeah. Like a real estate sign, yeah. Okay, but your point is not hanging in the window, right? Okay.
Or off the awning. Or off going to the wind.
Okay.
Until it was on the street.
Okay.
Okay, so made that change. Window signs, currently the ordinance says that window signs may cover 50% of the window area. The proposed amendment, which is also applicable to the downtown district, states that signs may cover 20% of the window area with the following restrictions. So there are 2 signs of window signs that are permitted, or several kinds. Letters painted directly on the window, hanging signs behind the glass, and vinyl appliques. This is what's in the ordinance now. Vinyl appliques must consist of either 1, individual letters or graphics with no visible background, or if there is a visible background, the visible background shall not extend beyond the approved sign area. So no more tiny signs with big blacked out areas around. Moving on to monument signs. Currently, it simply states that signs must comply with the setbacks for the zoning district, which is kind of nonsensical. The proposed amendment, which would also apply to the downtown district, states that Sign must be set back so that it does not obstruct the view of motor vehicle operators entering a public roadway from any parking area, service drive, alley, or other thoroughfare. In no case shall a monument sign be set back less than 5 feet. So that was to address the original wording, the original rewording that just simply stated, or as approved by the city engineer, which felt like might be a little loose. Monument signs must be constructed of durable materials. That's currently in the ordinance, and sign must be attached directly to the ground by its entire base, and that's currently in the ordinance as well. So. Now, you mentioned that you had another change you might
Well,
want to
I mean,
make. So-
I wonder if it'll, if you're trying to hurry this through, but I really, we had, I forget which business it was, I think the lighting business, and they wanted illumination, and I don't think we gave it to them. I think maybe they did I don't remember what we did, but I looked around and there's just illumination everywhere downtown. And I don't know how hard or easy that would be to allow some sort of illumination in the downtown district.
We did allow it for Nadeau. I think that was on the back of the building, for that little artichoke thing. Remember?
Facing the big, deep parking lot.
Yeah.
And we've
And I mean, the bank,
Yes.
Trustmark down here has on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, there is a lot of illumination.
And then there's street lighting. If we're not getting any kind of complaints from any, residents, there aren't that many residents.
We can go back in and make that adjustment if y'all feel like that's
Oh, yeah.
something you want to carry over.
You want to do it all at the same time, you don't want to take it separately. And Mr. Smith, do you have any, you want to weigh in on this at all either? I know we talked a little bit about the planning commission the other night.
I'm not touching signs.
Okay. Okay. Well, just because we talked about it the other night at planning
I
commission.
know, that's fair, we did.
Right, I mean, until we decide to actually.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm headed. So, President Wyatt, thoughts on carrying it over and adding illumination, or?
I think it's just up to y'all. I mean, we are where we are with signs. The issue is not, in my opinion, what the ordinance says, is whether or not we're gonna enforce what it's in the ordinance. And if we want to start doing that, then, the ordinance is gonna mean something. If we don't, and, I mean, we keep fiddling with it to react to something that's happened, because we've allowed something to happen, and then it becomes, okay,
Like
well, now we need to let someone else
I mean,
do it. And so, it's just,
Reaction.
we just continually sort of change it to react to whatever the latest thing is, and then we don't like what someone did, so we then react to that. And the bottom line is, the issue with the signs is enforcement.
Or
So
saying no.
what, huh?
Or saying no. Just no, comply with the sign ordinance.
Correct. And if we keep giving variances and making adjustments, then, we're gonna have signs of all different kinds and whatever. So I'm not saying I have any problem with the amendments, including the illumination. I'm just saying what we're doing is really not addressing what everyone's concerned about, which is the actual enforcement of the sign ordinance, rather than giving variances every time they show up, and people asking for more and more variances, and then we, sort of split the baby on it, and, those sorts of things.
I will
That's
tell
really
you
where the issue is.
that I won't tell you where I got this information, but somebody that has been before us not just within the last few weeks, said, quote, "Everybody knows when you go to Homewood, you ask for 12 variances and they give you 6.
Yes.
I think,
I've heard that.
I don't think it's difficult to notice that the variance requests that have come to us are starting to have a lot of
Right.
variances on the request.
It's the Taco Bell.
And magically, during the request, they're able to tell us
Right.
which signs they're willing
Exactly.
to cut back on
Exactly.
to get to what they wanted originally, but they didn't
Exactly.
want to start there because we would have cut that down.
Exactly.
And the point is, until we start just saying,
No.
we're not giving variances, none of this stuff really matters a whole lot. So, I'm fine with any of these, if whether or not y'all want to wait and do the illumination or go ahead and send out what's there. I would defer to Mr. Pugh as to
I will defer
what
to Mr.
timing
Pugh, yes.
whether the stuff that's already been done needs to get out there because of their enforcement mechanisms, I'm fine with doing that, and then we can take up the illumination. The real thing is, we gotta stop giving variances if we want the ordinance to matter.
We are governing by variance, so.
Well, I
We
mean,
cannot govern by variance, but
That's-
we're in danger of doing that.
I agree that
Yeah.
it's important to abide by our ordinances, but this one is, I mean, just coming in the middle of what the ordinance says, you know, I don't know why or when we said no illumination downtown, but when you look around, downtown is totally illuminated. So
But some
I'm
of that
just,
was
I'm
before.
trying to make it easier for us to, you know, to follow our ordinances.
And
if there's
Melanie,
a,
I'm not disagreeing
yeah,
with you.
Yeah.
What the history that I've been here for that you haven't is, the reason the illumination was taken out was because people didn't like the illuminated signs.
And
then
some of
we
that was
started, so
before
then we started giving
variances.
variances for illuminated signs because we thought they were, the ones that were brought to us were okay. And so now we've sort of come full circle again to say, well, we've got so many, why aren't we allowing all of them? Which is a reasonable position. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying that was the source of my statement was,
Yeah.
we keep going back and forth
Yeah.
and circling around because
Right.
we're reacting to what's happening.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna defer to Mr. Pugh. This is your item, so it's up to you on whether or
Yeah,
not.
I was just gonna say, and also bear in mind that external illumination is permitted downtown.
Right.
So I mean, it's not that it goes dark at night. They just would have to do it a different way.
Right, that was actually what we chose
Right.
because there was a concern about illuminated signs. So
Yes.
we chose the exterior illumination, the goosenecks and those sorts of things.
It's a character thing.
The placemakers recommended it.
That's right.
Provided for illumination.
That's
Well,
correct.
and it,
Correct, and we
Yes,
changed,
it
we were the
was.
ones that changed that.
Correct.
yeah,
So,
not be any more appropriate.
Wyatt,
This isn't the mall, so.
Wyatt, I have a question about the window signs,
Okay.
and that is to decrease from 50 to 20%. I'm just, you know, window signs are obviously much different than something that's like on the front of the building because that could change more regularly, for example. So in regards to enforcement, you know, it doesn't seem that would be an issue where signs would be grandfathered in because, I mean, they could be changed seasonally or they could be changed weekly depending on, you know, the business. So how will that enforcement take place in regards to window signs being reduced? Will it be communicated to all businesses that at a certain date all have to be in compliance?
They're grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Yes, there's gonna be some tricky steps to take here. So a window sign can change. In fact, in the definitions in the ordinance, it states that a permanent sign, such as a window sign, as long as it's compliant, its message can change regularly. So you see a lot of window signs that are gonna do that. But as far as figuring out who's grandfathered and who's not, yeah, it's gonna be very difficult.
I mean, because, basically you would have to have an inventory of all business signs, and I mean, that'd be impossible from an enforcement standpoint almost. So it just seems like we would need to either leave it as it is or set a date and say by this date everyone has to be in compliance with no grandfather.
I don't know how.
I don't know how you do that.
There's a state code section in Alabama that says amortization is not a sufficient compensation. And that's passed by Senator Jim Bennett, who's now deceased. It's unique to Alabama.
Yeah, I don't see how you take away someone's legal sign. Like if they put it up and it was illegal at that point, you can't then go back and
Most
say,
jurisdictions
"That was
say
fine."
give you 5 years to, and these are primarily related to not signs and windows, but billboards. That's where the
Yeah.
industry has gone for that. In Alabama, you can't amortize. You can't say you can have it for 5 years and then you have to take it down. That's not sufficient compensation based on the legislature of Alabama enforcement.
Well, so I just wanted to have that discussion because that seems like a particularly difficult aspect from an enforcement standpoint. And so that's why I wanted to just see what our options were.
Everything, in my opinion, everything that you granted permission to be constructed is going to be grandfathered. And you're going to have to clean up your mess if there is one going forward.
It's just gonna take time.
I said this when we paid placemakers to draft a sign ordinance. If you're going to have an ordinance, you need to enforce it or you need to change your ordinance. You can't you should not grant variances every month.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with your ordinance if you see fit to grant a variance literally every month.
Not every meeting.
Well, every meeting, at least every month. I'm not sure. It's on every agenda, but it's on lots of.
So the glazing and the coverage, I'm sorry,
20%.
it's what?
20%.
It's dropping?
It's dropping.
The allowed is dropping.
The allowed is dropping, and also what some people were doing was making the sign compliant, but continuing on with.
A white border or
a
something?
white border, and this would.
So the border would now count as part of the sign?
Part of the sign.
Yeah, because I know like Ace has done that, that beauty place still is not compliant, never came for a variance.
They.
Where they're covering the entire window, they've got, it looks like the Christmas light show that you go pay 20 bucks for around the entire building. I mean, yeah, there's all sort of, and I guess to that point, enforcement for lighting and some of these other things too is difficult to do because
really
guys
not
aren't working when those are
really
lit
not
up like Christmas trees. Yeah, and I know the police department had shared that they had concerns about a certain amount of glazing and coverage on windows too because of the safety aspect there. So you feel like this is assisting with their expressed desire to
Yeah.
fix that threshold, I
It's
guess.
gonna be difficult, I think, at first for a lot of businesses to comply with this, but if this, if you all feel like this is too restricted, now's the time to straighten that out.
It's your department that's enforcing it, so.
Well, the comments I was getting before we made these changes was that the window sign sizes need to go down.
And that's your department.
So, and let me, I guess, just understand, do they need to come and ask, like Ace came for variance, but only because they put something up that was clearly way too big to cover the entire window? Can they put something up right now that's 50% of the window area without coming and requesting it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know the vape shop down in Green Spring, I mean, all those places have stuff that.
Yeah, they wouldn't need a variance to cover 50% of their window now, but they would need a permit.
Okay.
They would need a permit.
Do they currently need that permit to do it?
Yes.
So the signs that we don't have, the shops that we don't have permits for, those could be destructed because they never came and followed the process to get them put up.
Yeah. And
Correctly.
Scott Cook has a stack of letters.
I believe that.
This
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
All of them.
Okay, I gotcha.
Believe that. Okay, Mr. Pugh, your thoughts on elimination?
I mean, if y'all are okay with this going forward
Okay.
as is, and then maybe circling back on some of these other ones, would that be amenable to everyone?
That is to me.
I'm good with it as is. I don't
Okay.
think we need to change the illumination we have downtown because we specifically put it in place because we wanted it to look like a Fairhope, a Winter Park. You know, we were striving toward a goal, and internal illumination is not. That's going to look like, you know, a strip mall. So we have strip malls in Homewood. Go look at those and see if that's what you want downtown to look like.
It already does.
Okay, anyway, moving
It
on.
doesn't,
All right,
actually,
all right,
in all
okay,
places.
all right, I'm moving on. Mr. Kendrick, is this also January 29th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And half
I
of it does
need,
because we screwed up and let the damn variance pass.
all right, I need an ordinance,
Motion. I'll motion for approval.
Any another one?
no, you gotta move to, this is a public hearing. Yes.
It's already set though.
Did we ever set the public hearing for this one?
No, you
Yeah.
guys said it.
Oh, I'm looking at the item below. Sorry.
Okay, correct. I need this to go out, I need a recommendation for this to go out without public,
Without recommendation, pending the public hearing.
which is gonna be set for January 29th. Okay.
January 29th.
Thank you. Gwaltney? Who got? Second. Nelms? Okay, Gwaltney and Nelms. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes 5-0, thank you. Okay, 181123, public hearing set for January 8th, 2023 at 6 PM for consideration to approve the amended development plan at 800 Lakeshore Drive for Samford University to permit the proposed construction of a new 5-story, 515-bed freshman residence hall comprising of 142,737 square feet. It's intended to accommodate the university's ongoing student housing needs. This is in the institutional district zone. The applicant is Caleb Martin, Jeff Polishek, from Samford Planning Commission. We voted on this 8-0 for a favorable recommendation. Mr. Smith, and I know Samford
Yes.
here. Yes, okay.
Caleb's here, so I'll just let him take it.
All
I hope
right.
you don't have any signs on the building.
There's not illuminated ones.
Not on the renderings.
I just can't even. Okay, yes, please.
All right, so, yeah. freshman-
Just ask for 12 and we'll give you 6.
All right, so freshman housing, I'm sorry, Caleb Martin here with LBYD presenting for Samford.
Oh, yeah, we sign it.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Is that okay? I'm not sure which
That's
item
good,
this
that's
is.
good. You're good, brother. Gotcha.
So freshman housing, like I said, 5-story, about 515 unit dorm for freshmen. I guess he said it's for the ongoing needs for the freshman class. That class has been increasing in number for quite some time now. I guess currently the freshman class is kind of spread out throughout the campus. The effort here is to bring them all into one location, and kind of set those relationships first year. We feel as though that's an important time in college life. It's going to be located inside the, I guess, the quad area, the central portion of campus, and it'll allow some of the upper classes to kind of come back to campus and not be living off campus. And I think that's important. So.
I had asked you the question at Planning Commission. This is not replacing an existing building. This is being built on an empty.
Correct. This is
parking lot.
brand new.
Right, yep.
Yep.
And you said, so if I'm like, say, I'm at the circle, the president's office, and then admissions is over here, in relation to that, where am I? For the building?
There's a attachment exhibit.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, got it.
All right, so Sherman Circle is kind of the front door.
Yep.
Right. It'll be located right here. Talbert Circle is right there with the University Center just on the other side. So it'll be located just beside the other dorms, kind of in between Vale Hall and the University Center where students go to eat.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have this, but here's where it is. It's colored in yellow
Okay.
in the middle of the campus.
So right next to the
Right.
cafeteria.
Correct. So right.
Hey,
there.
Brian, did I see that one you just showed?
Correct. So Vale Hall is the, I guess, an existing dorm. University Center is right here, which is the cab and various other eating. Applications, Talbot Circle, right here. The quad, obviously, over here. So it's kind of in that northwestern corner of the quad, of the interior circle.
Any questions?
Well, first of all, congratulations on the growth of enrollment and, the school needing to do this. Very exciting. Is there anything about this project from an engineering and design standpoint for the building that, you take pride in? What's most exciting for you in this project?
Most exciting, probably one of the biggest additions to the campus in quite some time. So just that first step forward and a lot of big things happening for Samford.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here tonight to present.
It looks like it's like basically almost looks like two different buildings, and then the walkway in the middle. Is that because there's going to be female students on one side and male students on the other? Is that how y'all are doing
I
it?
think that talk has been happening.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be split up from one wing to the other,
Yeah.
as opposed to floor to floor.
Right.
Not to say that's concrete, but
Yeah.
that's the general thought
Yeah.
so far.
That's really pretty.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Jones.
What percentage of students live on campus now? 61%
of our undergraduate student body, and that doesn't count any of our graduate students.
Okay.
And the goal is to have 75% of our undergraduate students living on campus for retention purposes.
Okay. And then the freshman class, what percentage?
Freshmen generally about 97% 7% live on campus their first year.
Okay, so this will free up other spots on campus for other.
Yes, sir. Currently, they live in 8 separate dorms around campus.
Okay.
And we had a 91% retention rate 2 years ago, which dropped to 87% with our largest class. We feel it makes a big difference to have them right there to create that sort of community. You have the rec center on one side, you have the new cap on the other. So it allows them to create their social connections more tightly.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi,
Yeah. I have a question.
Okay.
Do we see any problems with this adding to any engineering issues with the city? Like, is there any
Not,
stormwater situations?
so they'll manage the stormwater on campus.
Okay,
Yeah, and release at the same rate that the
Okay.
stormwater will release at the same
Okay.
rate that it currently does.
okay.
I mean, it's a parking
And-
lot right now. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
big
I know
parking
where
lot
it
now.
is. And so, I mean, I've seen construction there before, and I don't see that much, disruption. But as far as, exiting campus and all of that, is there a plan already in place for that?
So we have a plan for managing the traffic flow through campus, and how that'll happen. Fortunately, Samford has I guess it's kind of a circle, Montague Drive, it's kind of a circle of quad. So even if we will have to shut down a small portion to do some of the utility work. We're able to reroute around.
Right.
It's not closing off a portion of campus.
And I was just mainly thinking about not as much closing off as it was, construction going in and out of campus.
Gotcha.
Because as it is, between Samford and Homewood High School, it's a parking lot, at certain times of the day.
Right.
And I just wonder if that had been thought about as far as exiting and delivering goods and all of that.
There have been quite a few
Okay.
conversations about that, bringing in materials at night, those types of things, just to
Okay.
try and mitigate the
Awesome.
different types of traffic on the same road.
Okay, awesome.
Travis, draw that up here.
I have one question.
Okay.
So Brian, could you bring the aerial view back up? So this is taking out parking. Does Samford allow students, freshmen to park on campus or not?
Currently, that is allowed, yes.
Okay, so this is gonna increase the capacity of housing. How is the parking being handled? And I know this is internal to Samford, but my concern is for the adjacent neighborhoods and the consumption of additional residential properties being pulled in Samford or being bought by Samford. So I just wanna make sure that we're
Right.
taking steps to care
Well,
for
with
protecting the citizens and the residential properties.
Yeah. With the addition of the dorm, we're bringing more students on campus to live there. So in theory, they're not going off campus and coming back. Now, there has been some conversation and commitment to the north parking deck, I guess, to be located near this dorm, which will obviously house additional cars.
But it's not there today.
It's not there today, but there has been a commitment by Samford to construct that.
Is there a timeline, just out of curiosity?
They will be open roughly the same time.
Okay. Oh, that's convenient. And, well, that's good news, not convenient. And this is on existing parcels, not trying to pull in any other residential parcels? Perfect. Making sure there's no more rezonings coming. So, that's good. Thank you for the clarification.
No problem.
Make a motion to send out without recommendation pending the public hearing.
All right, I have a motion from Counselor Sims. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second from Counselor Nelms. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that goes out for January the 8th, next door. That'll be at 6